Okay, one more time. This is Europe Encounters America. This is section 5. I do want to apologize to you. You're going to lose the pictures in this one, but in the interest of time, I wanted to get this recorded, produced, and uploaded, and so I wanted to get that out there for you. So I do apologize for, quite honestly, the lack of visual interest in it. So please make sure that you're getting the information out of it, and we'll be talking about this again in class. So the Vikings were the first ones to arrive here in what are known as the Americas. We talked about this in class. We know it was Leif Erikson and others. They did not stay because of hostility from Native Americans, but they explored the extreme northeastern areas of what will become known as the continent of North America up around Canada. Christopher Columbus uses the influence of Ptolemy's maps, an ancient Egyptian map maker as well as astronomer, and he posited the idea that the earth was round, and he also invented this idea of lines of latitude and longitude, and his map itself is going to actually make distances seem closer than they actually were, and that's why Christopher Columbus will think he discovered India when he discovered the Americas. So as a result of his research, Christopher Columbus seeks backing for his voyage, and it's going to be King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain that finance his voyage in 1492. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella were cousins. Yuck! So here's a map of his different voyages. He made 4 of them all together. He discovered America. He took gold to Ferdinand and Isabella. They said, "Oh, yay, gold!" And then, of course, they sent him back to get more. So he originally landed in the Bahamas. I believe that he landed in what was known as San Salvador. He called them Indians because he thought he had landed in India. And he also found modern-day Cuba and Hispaniola. Santo Domingo was the first capital of the Spanish-American Empire. It's going to be founded by actually Christopher Columbus's brother who's going to run it. The Spanish Empire, they claim control of the Americas after its discovery by Columbus, and this rivalry between Spain and Portugal over this route to Asia is going to fuel a lot of conflict between the Spanish and the Portuguese, which is going to lead to the Treaty of Tordesillas. I know that is y'all's favorite, but it created a line of demarcation. And to give you an idea of the power of the Pope, Pope Alexander VI basically takes a line and draws an imaginary line across the map and says, okay, you get everything to the west, you get everything to the east. And so this gives Portugal control over the route to Asia, but Spain is going to gain this important new empire in the Americas that no one really knew about. So America is named for Amerigo Vespucci. Most of y'all know that. He mapped the area and concluded the landmass could not be Asia. And he said, hey, Christopher Columbus, you made a mistake. And Christopher Columbus did not claim the Americas, and so he takes Christopher Columbus's discovery as his own. Some of the early explorers of this area, Juan Ponce de Leon, he discovered Florida in 1513. Vasco de Balboa was the first European to discover the Pacific coast. It's called the Beautiful Coast. In 1520, Ferdinand Magellan discovered the strait at the southern tip of South America, and his crew became the first to circumnavigate the world. What that means is that they made a complete circle of the earth and came back to their original starting place. Of course, Magellan dies on that trip, and so that's why his crew was the first one to circumnavigate the world and not Magellan. So the Columbian Exchange is very, very, very important. It was a series of interchanges that permanently changed the world's ecosystems and changed nearly every culture around the world. Nobody knew about the Americas, and so you're going to have this exchange of all these crops and diseases and animals and languages and culture that's going to take place, and it is going to forever change the face of the earth. Native Americans taught Europeans about tobacco, corn, and the potato. And the Europeans are going to take that back, and it's going to be a more stable food source. Europeans adapt the use of the canoe. But Europeans are going to bring to Native Americans wheat, domestic livestock, and barley. Guess what, folks? Pigs came from the Europeans. Horses came from the Spanish. They weren't here. They were not native or indigenous to the Americas. Europeans brought metalworking to Native Americans, but they also brought devastating diseases to the Native Americans. The Vikings themselves probably brought some of the very early diseases that's going to wipe out peoples in the northeastern region of the Americas. But I think ironic that Native Americans give syphilis to the Europeans, which they take back to Europe, and it spreads throughout the continent. It's a very nasty disease. So this is the end of Europe Encounters America. We will be going over a few things in class tomorrow as well. I hope you have a chance to view this video, and I hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.